Hi there, my name is Randy Salimi, and today I am going to be talking about the video game Counter-Strike Global Offensive and how that could be um, adapted to a play. So, CSGO, or Counter-Strike Global Offensive, is a 5v5 competitive shooter, and it doesn't really have a set storyline. The focus is on two factions in a variety of locations all across the world, and the central conflict is between the terrorists and counter-terrorists in whatever objective they're trying to accomplish, blowing something up, capturing people. It varies. So, in regards to the type of stage I would use, as you can see, the environments of CSGO are very varied, but they don't really. The geometry is very similar. They're very blocky, simplistic, and there's always this focus on certain areas of the map. So, like for example, in this very popular map, there's this it's called a bomb site, and I think for the play, it could be really easy to just have these very important locations be represented. You only need one or two of them. And so I think a proscenium stage would be really nice. You can have the curtain right over there with the back of the wall being represented by the arrow pointing out. And it'd be really easy to do because there's not really much you need. You could do like a little cardboard car and some boxes, and it would look just like this. So for characters, it's also pretty simple. Now, CSGO up until recently didn't have much variety in its characters, but recently they released these character skins, and there's more than this, and they all look very different. So it'd be really easy to just have the players or the characters just wear whatever they want really, and just they can be considered CS:GO characters. And actually, that's an interesting thing is that instead of the play being about the characters in the game, since it's like a 5v5 competitive shooter, I was thinking that really the characters in the play are their avatars, and the actual characters are the people playing them. And so you have, like, for example, in this play, focusing on one team, Richard, the team captain. You have Rob, bit of a bad boy. You have Steve, the Joker, and then Ashley, who is the new player in their team. The team is known as the Chads, and there's a fifth player, but he is not pictured, and that's for reasons. So, the axe, I think it actually fits up pretty nicely. So in CSGO, the game is the first to 16. I think 16 wins, 16 rounds. And there's a halftime at 15. And so a normal game has around 28-ish rounds, 26. So I think the first act would be the first half. Third act would be the second half. And the second act would be the halftime. Now for the first act, it would be the Chads. Their fifth player, possibly their best player, Bob, isn't present because his internet is out. So it's only them four. And they're losing. Now, Rob is mad because Ashley's not good. And they're losing. And he blames her. Richard, being the team captain, tries to defuse the situation. And so every round they lose, they're arguing, they're blaming each other for mistakes. And Steve tries to defuse the situation with jokes, but it doesn't really work. At the end, Rob would directly, they're on the voice chat, would directly call out Ashley for being bad. And, start yelling at Richard. They'd actually fight in the game, because it's possible. And Ashley would leave. And then her leaving ends the first act, goes to halftime. There's like a 10-minute break. Now, for Act 2, it'd be a lot shorter because it's just on the halftime. But in it, they would try to resolve their problems. Steve would talk directly to Richard and Rob, and the stage would actually change. Instead of being in the game, it's in real life, and it's all dark. And you can there's 3 computers just set up all across the room. It's kind of just representing them in their rooms, and so they're talking over the internet. And Steve tries to point out to Richard and Rob how they're ruining what competitive games are supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun at the end of the day. And Richard and Rob realize they're wrong, and they feel bad, and so they talk to Ashley and they apologize. So Act 3, they're all ready to get back into the game, and they're pretty far behind. Maybe they've only won like 4 or 5 rounds. But, power of friendship, they're ready. They don't care if they win or lose because they just want to have fun. And so they're playing, and lo and behold, Bob connects because he's got his internet sorted out, and Bob's the best player. And boom, they're winning rounds. And so, like, the play would be a lot of the actual maybe matches. You could do that. It would work. They could honestly be like almost like self-contained skits each round, because that's kind of how CS:GO is. Each round is self-contained from the other ones. But the actual details of that, it'd probably be too long to go into detail about them. But yeah, so that'd be a lot of what the play is, a lot of the rounds with interspersed with like dialogue between the main players and stuff. But yeah, so Bob reconnects, they end up winning, and happy ever after. And yep, that is my presentation. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.